So my name is Mikal Ablatsa. I'm a journalist by profession. I have an ongoing petition about implementation of measures to curb weird doctrines that prey on the vulnerability of women and its congregants at large.
So when you say weird, what do you mean by weird?
Weird, by weird I mean cults like like the Mackenzie conversation that is going and the quagmire. That is what I mean by weird. Like the doctrines you subscribe to and you don't even understand why you are in those doctrines.
When you're petitioning this about cultism and religious churches, the regulation, where did you see the problem and notice that this is a problem that needs to be talked about and it's a need that needs to be curbed?
When it comes to these cult things, what happens is the corruption of the mind, So the mind, it's fed what it wants to hear. People are brainwashed. They are manipulated into believing things. And when it comes to the mind, there's no way you can regulate somebody's mind. So what you can regulate, it's that building that they go to be brainwashed. And that's why I took the approach of the implementation of measures. Because there's no way you can control, there's no way you can regulate my mind when I'm already in that brainwash thing. So what you can do is put a stop to the brainwash by coming up with measures that will limit these churches that are doing this, that are preying on the vulnerability of its congregants. Because you find most people who are in these churches are there because of perhaps desperation. Someone has an ailing person or has been waiting for marriage for so long and it's nowhere in sight, and then they hear there's someone somewhere or a man of God somewhere who is praying for people and they're getting husbands, or someone somewhere was disabled and they went to this church and they were able to walk. So people go there because of their desperation and they're being preyed upon because of that. So if we could come up with regulations that diminish that, many people will be served. We don't want to have a situation that is happening in Kilifi, the Mackenzie situation cropping up again, because we have so many Mackenzies in this town, in this country.
Well, when it comes to regulation of churches, the main thing that challenges us or even the government is the freedom of worship. How are we going to maintain that churches are regulated and still we maintain the same of freedom of worship?
Mm-hmm. Freedom of worship is there, yes, and there should be, I believe there should be a limit to the freedom, okay? Because if people are just coming up with churches, they have seen this is an easy avenue of making money, and then they come up, they identify scriptures they can use to achieve whatever they are trying to achieve. That freedom is dangerous. I can give an example of Rwanda. What happened in Rwanda when Kagame decided that all churches, all pastors must have degrees for them to have congregations or to own churches, something like that. Raila Odinga, was it Mama Ida or Raila, who in their campaigns mentioned that thing about regulating churches, and they were really attacked. But that is what is happening right now. That's the conversation we're having right now with even those who are trying to oppose it. So it is a necessity. It is that freedom, if it's leading to people fasting to death, it's a danger and it has to be regulated.
Have you ever experienced a moment of cultism?
Moment of cultism?
Or witnessed,
Maybe just say witnessed or observed, where people even abandon their husbands because now their life belongs to church, You serve your man of God better than you serve your husband. You spend all your days in church. How are you going to even put food on your table? So, I have seen that. I can say I have come close to experiencing it, but I have seen it.
Okay, where do you think the government has failed in terms of churches and matters concerning cultism? Where do you think the government has gone wrong, and why do they need to be held accountable?
All measures, laws are informed by the government, if I'm not wrong. So, if we have a situation where someone can come up today and they have a church here in Uhuru Park and they are already preying on people, you're leaving all your money in church, you don't even have transport to go home. You get? Because there's that freedom. I believe that is where the government has failed. And there should be measures to kind of limit this freedom, because it's a danger in a way, and we have seen it, we have witnessed it. You've seen a video of kids being radicalized against education because that is not God's will. And when you do that to a child's mind, tell me how you can convince a child otherwise when they have been made to believe that education, from that young age, they have been made to believe that education is not the will of God. Tell me how we can convince a young mind. The Bible says, train a child in the way they should go and they'll never depart from it. So this child has been trained in the way that education is not the will of God, and they have believed it. Tell me how someone will convince this child otherwise, that they actually need that education, because it will help them in the future. Tell me. So that is why the regulations are important. Yes.
Yeah, who is your target for this particular petition? Who are you petitioning to?
I'm petitioning to the government and to the organizations that hold power in such matters, and even the monarchy, to come forth and shun such vices, just trying to also educate people about the things that are being done to them that shouldn't be done to them. So the government, other responsible bodies, church like NCCK, they should also come in, NCCK is in charge of is it registration of churches, right? So yes, also to NCCK, they have to identify whether these vices are coming from the churches that are registered or those that are not registered, and put in place measures to ensure that these vices does not go on.
Why should people come forward and sign your petition?
People should come forth and sign this petition because we have to say no to cultism. The Bible says, my people perish because...
Why should people petition?
People should come forth and support this petition because, first of all, they have to say no to this vice, and by signing this petition, they are saying no to this vice because people have been misled. And by signing this petition, we shall be able to grab the attention of the responsible players that will ensure that the asks in this petition are achieved and implemented.